From Washington, this is VOA News. Another U.S. warning to Syria. France upset over U.S. spying allegations. I'm Ray Kouguell reporting from Washington. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry says there can be no peaceful solution to the conflict in Syria as long as President Bashar al-Assad remains in power. Secretary Kerry spoke Monday in Paris after meeting separately with the foreign ministers of Qatar and Saudi Arabia. Mr. Kerry travels to London Tuesday for a meeting with other core members of the Friends of Syria and the Syrian opposition. Egyptian religious and political leaders are condemning a shooting attack outside a Coptic church in the Cairo suburb of Giza Sunday night. 4 people were killed and 17 others wounded. Edward Yeranian reports.
Dressed in black, the mother of 2 young girls killed in the shooting expresses her grief. She says she had been preparing food at home before coming to church on the bus when the shooting began. She says she ran to see what happened and saw both of her girls dead on the ground, along with her sister. A young man who witnessed the shooting says 2 men on a motorcycle opened fire at the crowd of wedding guests with an automatic rifle. A Coptic priest at the Church of the Virgin, where the shooting took place, told journalists there had been no police protection at the church for weeks. Edward Yeranian for VOA News, Cairo.
President Obama called France's President François Hollande to discuss French outrage about claims that a U.S. spy agency eavesdropped on millions of phone calls of French citizens. Mr. Obama told the French president the U.S. is reviewing its intelligence gathering to ensure a balance between security and privacy. French Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius called in the U.S. ambassador to ask about an article in the Le Monde newspaper about large-scale spying on French citizens by the U.S. National Security Agency. The article alleged the NSA gathered tens of millions of French phone records over a 1-month period. The allegations were reportedly leaked by former U.S. security contractor Edward Snowden. Mexico reacted angrily Monday to an article published in the German weekly Der Spiegel in which Snowden accused the NSA of accessing the email of former Mexican President Felipe Calderon. Russian officials say Monday's explosion on a passenger bus in the southwest city of Volgograd was the work of a female suicide bomber. The blast killed 6 people along with a bomber and injured about 30. Authorities identified the bomber as a 30-year-old resident of Dagestan, one of the republics in Russia's predominantly Muslim North Caucasus region. No one's claimed responsibility for the bus blast. Firefighters continue to do battle with some of the most destructive wildfires to ever strike Australia's most populous state, with higher temperatures and winds expected to intensify the danger in the coming days. A state of emergency has been declared in New South Wales, giving officials power to order people from their homes. Minister for Emergency Services Mike Gallagher says the measures will help firefighting efforts.
For example, if it's apparent that they need to cut off electricity or cut off gas utilities to an area, they've got the power to do that. They've got the power to pull down buildings and demolish buildings if they have to.
More than 60 wildfires are still burning in several threatening communities. President Obama is vowing to fix problems affecting the rollout of the new health care insurance law, including computer software glitches frustrating Americans who are trying to enroll. White House correspondent Dan Robinson has more.
Amid increasing criticism, the administration has now sought help from the high-tech industry to fix what experts say are more than just glitches, but some serious system design flaws. In the White House Rose Garden, with a dozen people who successfully signed up for coverage or were already benefiting from the law, Mr. Obama said he's committed to fixing what he calls kinks in the system.
There's no sugarcoating it. The website has been too slow. People have been getting stuck during the application process. And I think it's fair to say that nobody's more frustrated by that than I am, precisely because the product is good.
There is no excuse for the problems, Mr. Obama said, adding his administration is doing everything it can to boost capacity. Dan Robinson, VOA News, the White House.
A court in eastern China's Shandong province says it will rule this Friday on the appeal of disgraced former politician Bo Xilai. Bo was sentenced to life in prison after being convicted of bribery, embezzlement, and abuse of power. He admitted some wrongdoing but denied most of the charges against him during a 5-day trial, watched very closely throughout the country. I'm Ray Kouguell, VOA News. More at voanews.com.